What is going on, everybody? Luke here. In today's video we're going to be talking about pretty much what I talk about all the time. Why do I always end up in Thorntons? What's going on with that? Like, literally for the past 4 years these have been actual gems, and I've talked about it about 4,000 times and it still seems to work. So what I'm going to talk about today is creating your own opportunities, similar to what I mentioned about what I do in Q4 like last year and year before. And it's like, you know, becoming the only seller on the buy box, the literal final seller on the buy box. In my example today is going to be a Thorntons Turkish Delight box, and as you can see, I've got it all up. I've smashed through the data for you so you can see is that I'm currently selling this for $18.99. Yeah, I bought it for $6.75, and actually at one point, no, I think it was out of stock. At one point it was a better offer than that, but anyway, that was out of stock then. Backed in the 20%, and you can see I'm making £4.63 per box. And just looking at the chart, last 3 months, you can go ahead and see, look, one seller. Yeah, so obviously when there was the 15, it was right down here. I'm not going to worry about sort of pre Q4. Obviously out of stock here, and just like always, I sell this product at potentially $13.80. That's pretty much the lowest it got. So if I just put in $13.80, $13.18, yeah, 60, it's about 10% ROI. Now I'm happy to do that over Q4. At that kind of price down here, you could probably sell 30 to 50 a day, pretty standard. You know, if you've got 1,000 of them, I don't know how many days. I say pretty much from maybe 30 in November and like 50 here, but that's to say that's like 600, I don't know, like 600, you know, times, you know, 0.68, 408 quid, 6 weeks, 8 weeks work, one product. You know, if you just try to copy that across, you know, 5-10 items, and then you have all the other standard items that are just ticking over with competition, like you normally do, you know, and then you replens that are just doing their thing in the background. Obviously all that comes together nicely at the end, and it's always great to find products that you can potentially be the only buy box holder, because then you can choose the price. Now the reason I've chosen $18.99 is because if you go higher, there's no buy box, and actually not only is there no buy box, it's really difficult to find the button. You know, usually there's different ways to sort of do it. There's normally a button down here, isn't there? And it's like, but on here it's like this tiny little thing hidden, and like, yeah, it's pretty like when I go to $19.99 and there's no buy box, no sales really come through. Yeah, some do, like a handful here and there, you know. Obviously people that really want it will look, but yeah, it's no point. Again, at this price, you know, at how high do you want to go? Like, I've seen this product. Obviously, it's a little bit more of a luxury product. It's Christmas, so people aren't as worried. You know, if their granddad's favorite thing, chocolate Turkish Delight Thorntons, they're going to get that. Yeah, they're not going to go, oh, let's get some substitute from Waitrose or something, their own brand. Yeah, they could do, but usually at Christmas they're going to treat them as a gift, even if the price is not, you know, perfect. And so obviously at some point that gets stupid. 30 quid, you know, it's really stupid. Anything really above 20, probably stupid. And then the reason I bumped the price up is because I want to see where that buy box top is. So I started at $24.99, and I worked my way down because I wanted to figure out what it would allow me to sell. And then from that, I can then decide what price I want to sell it. Obviously, if they let me do 30, I probably would not do it. Yeah, because you're going to get returns. You're going to get more chances of getting returns and issues with it because it's so overpriced, and people can start leaving negative feedback, even if they're happy with the products, as in the actual product's fine, they're not happy with the price. And so you got to find the right balance. And all I did here is I identify, you know, up here I was selling some of them around here, and at some point when I started to notice a little bit of a drop off, basically when that didn't go up anymore, more than anything, I noticed that it's out of stock, literally on Thorntons. I mean, I've said this about 4,000 times. Like, I just went Thorntons and bought some, you know, and that was that. And I don't know how many I bought, maybe 400. It wasn't actually this one. This is like a personalized one, so it's more expensive, you can see. But that's an even better sign that the original version isn't even showing on the website. So when I actually even try to look for it, it doesn't even say out of stock like this. It just is not there. Even better. Like a tick mark to say, okay, now I'm going to keep an eye on that product, make sure it doesn't come back into stock, and I'm going to raise my price to $19.99. I think I did about a week ago, and I waited. And, you know, obviously I know it's selling well, so like, you know, back down here, also not only am I getting sales and getting traction because I can buy it in abundance, but I'm also building up a bit of an idea of how many I can sell per day, per week. You know, if you just hold forever and wait because you think that, you know, you don't really know what it can do. So if you've got 600 units, do you even know if you can sell that in the time frame allowed by the time you actually get that buy box exclusively? You're not sure. It's an unknown. But if you build some traction in when it's available and when you're down here, instead of holding and waiting for a higher buy box, and yes, you'll get some sales, but you don't really know its true value. You don't really know what you can do, and so it's scary. You've got, like I'm going to be out of stock on this by what you're saying, probably something like here. Like just 12, 13 days of this product that I could sell, but the only reason that I'm going to run out is because I'm not going to raise the price any higher than this. So that is the reason that I'll sell out, not for any other reason. Obviously, you don't want to be the opposite where you hoard so many and you have no idea. You think it's going to do 50 to 100 a day. It does 10, and then you've got 700, 800. You've got whatever you've got, and you have to find the right balance. Yeah, and I'm happy to obviously scoot the profits. That's 68p there, and now I'm swooping in with 18.99. What's my average going to be for all this? I probably had 400 or 500 units over the period, and what I did is on about 230 units, I bumped the price up to 19.99, and I waited, and how long did it take? 28th. It took like a week to get down here, yeah. And by then, obviously, it's already at a premium 18 quid, even with more, 17.99. So it's not much different with 3 sellers. But I would rather just wait because I know that no one's going to jump back on. It doesn't mean that people won't have, oh look, I've got a box of Thorntons that I missed, like in the shed. That could happen. But I'm going to pretty much burn through these last, I don't know how many I got left, but whatever. It will just burn through when it burns through. And if it comes back into stock, maybe I'll pick up some, but probably not, just because of the time frames, deliveries, prep center, and all that kind of thing. Like I'm going to maximize, just by looking at this, I think I had about 219 units at 18.99, times that by 463. You got 219 units. Yeah, 1,000 quid profit in, 2.5 weeks off one product. Now there's about 5 to 10 products that I've done this to. I've raised the prices in anticipation of the same scenario. And I don't know if that's going to play out because I don't know if the item's going to come back into stock. Or people, I don't know if people have been hoarding some to strip in over this period. Various, unknowns, yeah. So I know roughly how many they sell because I went in. You can even do a break-even test. You overbuy, you break even, you get a sense of the true value of the sales, and then you rebalance when your stock is at the right level that you feel comfortable with. Like, right, I've got 10 days or 7 days, I can sell 400, and you've got 400 left, and you can kind of play that scenario. And you're like, it's the 9th, do some math, I can wait until X date, and then maybe we'll see where we are. So I'll wait till something like Monday, and even then you've still got a good week and a half. You could even wait until like the 15th, 16th to get a full 7 days of burst sales. Obviously, is the rank improving? What's the rank? How many sales do I reckon I can do? Should I be safe and add a couple of days on because I don't want to be holding any? Maybe you do want to be holding in some because they're not 100% seasonal. It could sell well anytime. All these little things you've got to add on. And I'm basically holding a raise about 10 products in the hundreds of units. So in anticipation, way in advance. So all I did is I noticed that this was not going up on other products, and maybe I noticed a bit of a dip, which I always expect, not on everything, but on products. I don't know which ones. That's where you got to see what happens. I then raised it, and then I'm watching. And if it does come back into stock or something, obviously then what I'm doing, is going and checking that it's not coming back into stock on the obvious websites where people could just easily go and pick it up. As in Joe Blogs, so you type it in the Turkish delight, and it comes up, and it's like, okay, if anyone can find it, it's gonna probably not be the best. And people might restock it. And so, I can make £1,000 on this, and let's say I did some 5 or 6 products, that's six grand in 6 weeks, or even less than that, because I pretty much I didn't start selling this product until December, at that price. And obviously it doesn't count all the other units that I sold of this before. Obviously that average over Q4 bumps it up from that 60-something 10% ROI to probably about 38% or something, whatever the average, or 40%, whatever the average will end up coming up as Q4. And that's where I take my value. That's what I like to do with my strategies. And sometimes you can play around, if it's a bigger box, for example, if it was a bigger thing, it might not be that much more expensive, but the value can be like $24.99 because it's a bigger thing, even though it might only cost you $8.50 or something, yeah, or like 9 quid. So it's not, so you want to, sometimes it might be that you can get that perfect, because obviously you might get like about £6 profit. This is perfect scenario, nice profits. And just so you can see how many I'm selling, I just jumped onto here. This is today. I just literally found it. You can even take the edge and have a look. Nothing special about it. Just literally, I've probably spoken about this actual item about 40 times on my YouTube videos, so it's no secret. In the last day, 49 orders. So within 3 days, within like literal 3 days, maybe even 4, I'm out of stock. So that means looking at the calendar, let's say I'm out of stock by Sunday. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's say 11 days. 11. This is how much I potentially lost, but you know, you can't always play it perfectly. 11 times 49 units, 539 units times that £4.63. You could make another 2,495 quid if you just had the stock. And again, you don't know, you know, it's like you got to find the right balance. Like, for example, I didn't know that was going to go out of stock. Yeah. I bought it preparing for Q4 because I don't buy loads. I just buy like a 50 or 80 at the beginning, drip it in, build on traction, and then I obviously see the sales. Is it responding correctly? Is it doing the same as I think it's going to do? And then I'll top up. Obviously, at some point, I realized it wasn't in stock, and then I was like, okay, let's keep an eye on this. You know, things can go in and out of stock all the time, so it's more about keeping an eye on it and seeing if it's how long it stays out of stock. If it continues to stay out, then maybe it disappears from the website. You know, you've got these tells, yeah, and then you just keep an eye on it. So I just go on every day and I just quickly type in XYZ product and I see if it's available. If it's not, I'm like, yeah, business as usual, crack on. I'll just review, you know, I go into my inventory, I see what I got the most stock of, because usually that's the stuff I'm holding because it's not selling. And then I just go and review the data, and at some point I might go, okay, I can't keep waiting to be the only seller, but now the buy box is higher and there's half the amount of sellers, because some people might have 1,000 units. Obviously there's only so much you can do, but if I find, you can just see here, like, you know, I'm not going to go on to all these pages. I don't need any more. Range last day, ASIN, orders last day, blah blah blah, and that's literally it. And you know, and if it doesn't happen like this, it never happened like this, you know, and it was in stock, cool. I'll just be restocking, and I'll be making. I'll just be picking. You know, I'll do 300-400 units a month, or over 6 weeks, or whatever this period is, and I'll just take, you know, 400 quid. And I'll do it across 20 ASINs or however many it ends up being for that period of time that I find. And, you know, there's always usually those products like this somewhere. Yeah. So it's not like, it's very unlikely that none of your products are going to do this, because this is a trend that happens time after time. Like, let's go back to last December. You can probably just do it. So actually there actually went up. So it's not always going to, yeah, it's interesting. But I don't really worry about the previous years because the stock will change year to year. Like, they're not going to go and order exactly the same stock as last year and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to not necessarily look too much into the did it do it last year stuff. I'm just prepared that it might on any product, and I'll adjust and reap the rewards of finding the opportunity. But the opportunity is being created through here, and I'm keeping an eye on it. Because I know it can happen, and so I'm alert to the idea that this will happen. So I'll go and read this. I got about, I don't know, I got like probably out 2,000 units of various ASINs. That might do the same thing because they're out of stock. Doesn't mean it won't come back in. Doesn't mean people won't jump in. They might have some stuff in the warehouse that they're going to bang in. But at some point, you know, I'll go, okay, enough's enough. Let's match that buy box now. You know, it might be the same as it always was, but I know I'll still sell out. I'm not going to restock because there's not enough time to get it in Amazon, so I'm not losing the past sales as such. You know, you gotta weigh up what's right for you. If you're already making 250 profit and you're doing a lot, is it worth doing this because you're only doubling? But where you're potentially going from a 10% ROI to like a 70%, obviously the value is much more. So you've got to also balance that. Like, is it even worth waiting? You might as well just blitz through as many as you can, because that sometimes does apply as well, where the volume side outweighs the holding out side for the higher profit. Because if you actually, all those lost sales that you've missed by holding a higher price would just end up being the same or more than what you would do if you were doing it this way, because the profit is not like 4x, 5x, or whatever it is. So anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Hope you like it. Yeah, I'll see you all guys. No, I'll see you all. Oh, whatever. See you on the next one. Bye.